Hey, welcome to the Podcast Domination Show, where we help you launch, grow, monetize, and dominate the podcasting space. This is a show where we believe that if you can get attention with your podcast, you can influence someone. And if you can influence someone, you can get them to take massive action. And if you can get someone to do that, you, my friend, can dominate. I'm Diaz, your host and founder of Podcast Domination, and I'm your guide. Let's go. All right. So it is early here, and let's see, make sure. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting used to this whole new thing. I usually use these, so I'm just getting used to this thing, and it doesn't exactly stay in place like it's supposed to. It kind of moves a little bit, maybe because this is like a $10 one, but hey, I actually got it for free. So for those on the podcast, I'm talking about my Knox Gear noise proofer, whatever it's called. So anyways, today we're not going to talk about that. I'm actually going to share with you 4 ways to boost your SEO. And I'm not a huge fan of SEO, but I do understand the importance of SEO and being able to rank for keywords that are relevant to your audience. And mainly what I'm thinking about is picture your ideal customer and think about what would they talk about, or what would they type in to Google, YouTube, Quora, Reddit, Facebook? Where and what are they typing in when they have problems that you can solve for them, right? So when you are, whatever you're selling or however you serve people, what is it that comes to mind? For me, it's like, I want to launch a podcast, but I don't know how. And you have to kind of take yourself out of your shoes for this, because you're going to think that like they can't be that dumb. There's no way they don't know how to launch a podcast. Like I can do it in my sleep, right? But for people who are not experts in their field, or they haven't been doing what you've been doing for as long, a lot of the easiest, dumbest, stupidest questions that you overlook are the ones they're typing in. This took me a long time. This still gets me today. You know, how hard it is. You have to pull yourself out of your brain and your body and put yourself in their shoes, right? And think, I have no experience. I've never done this before. And so this is the kind of SEO. This is when I think of SEO, like I'm trying to rank for that person. I'm trying to get in front of that person. I'm trying to get in front of my ideal person who is typing something into Google and they have no idea what's going to come up, but they just really hope that whatever comes up is going to be really helpful, hopefully free, and gonna solve their problem. And if you can do that, if you can provide a free resource, which is be like a podcast that is really helpful, gets the job done for them, they're going to remember you. And that can lead to money, either money right now or money in the future. So I'll take both, if I'm being honest. But today we're going to talk about SEO for that purpose. So I just want to give you some purpose as to what, and by the end of this little mini episode, I'm going to follow my perfect podcast planning worksheet here and go through some of the steps. By the end of this, you are going to know 4 simple ways you can start to boost your SEO today for your podcast and other stuff too. But I'm talking strictly about podcasting. These are 4 simple things you can do, and I want you to do them. So by the end of today, I need you to implement at least one of these. Okay. I need you to implement at least one of these on your last episode. And I need you to tell me that in the Facebook group, or you can just tell me that through email, lewis@podcastdomination.co, not com. lewis@podcastdomination.co. Last thing, I want to caution you, because I see a lot of podcasters do this freaking wrong. It's really annoying. If you're just putting out episodes that, yeah, they're good, it's good stuff, but it has no rhyme or rhythm to it. It's just you ripping off the top of your head. And the title is completely irrelevant, meaning you gave no thought to the title. You gave no thought to, hey, if I'm a person who didn't just record this episode, how am I going to know what this episode's about if I just put, just go with the breeze? Like you fucking idiot. Like no one knows what that means, because they didn't listen, they didn't record the damn episode. So it's really important. This annoys the hell out of me. I see podcasters do this shit all the time, and then they complain and they quit because guess what? No one was listening to their show. Like, well, guess what, you damn idiot? Nobody freaking knew what you were talking about because you didn't pay any attention to your titles. So this annoyed the shit out of me. I'm sorry I get on a pet peeve and I start cursing, but it really annoys me. It really, really annoys. Like, don't waste time on a podcast if you're not going to do it right. So I want you to take these 4 friggin' tips and I want you to freaking use them. Okay. So number one is pretty much what we just talked about. The title of the episode is actually really, really, really important. It's not as important as what you say in the podcast, but it's probably number 2. So this, if you have good titles, let's put it this way. If you have really good titles, but no show notes, I'd rather you have that than shitty show titles and good show notes. Because the fact of the matter is, nobody listening or looking for podcasts is going to look at the show notes first. Okay. They're in the iTunes app or they're in the Spotify or wherever they're looking, and they're looking at titles. So you've got to get this part right. A few tips when it comes to titles is I like to go think back and look at traditional copywriting. Okay. So using things like numbers really works. Using real statistics really works. Using curiosity-based, titles like, have you ever had this problem with your podcast? ? Have you ever thought about launching a podcast? ? What's your biggest fear? So curiosity-based, fear-based, using statistics, using numbers, things like this. There's tons of resources online. For my team, our internal team, we have a very, very large, like, depository of resources that I use for my show note writers to help them. I do some training with them too, to help them figure out how to write better show notes, but also better titles. Cause a lot of times with our clients, we're helping them with the titles as well. So really, really focus on your titles, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let that shit slip. If you put out an episode that just says 3 words, those 3 words better be damn well descriptive as to what you talked about in that podcast, or else you just wasted whatever 15, 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes you just did and spent on that episode recording it. You just wasted it because you didn't put any time into the title. So don't do that. It pisses me off. Number 2 is post on YouTube. So YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. And if you're not on there, I think it's a mistake, honestly. Now, there are tons of tools. Personally, we use repurpose.io to automate the process of getting a podcast and turning it into a YouTube video. You can say, if you're a YouTube expert, maybe this is right, you can come correct me, but you can say maybe it hurts your YouTube channel. But for me, I have no intentions of being on YouTube anytime soon. So my podcast being there is a way better effort than I will ever put into YouTube, honestly, because I'm not that kind of guy. So for me, getting my podcast, my show notes on there automatically through repurpose.io, and I'll make sure I put my affiliate link in the show notes, by the way. So go there, check it out. But anyway, Hani Moore has been he's been a guest on the podcast, and I love that tool. They're doing some cool stuff with it. So Hani, keep going. If you're hearing this, I've got some suggestions for you too. But posting on YouTube, guys, seriously, is a really important thing. It's something that's going to help you get found by more people, for God's sakes. So who doesn't want that? And then another micro tip here, this is not really SEO. So that's going to help your SEO because if your podcast is on YouTube, YouTube's owned by Google. People type in stuff on Google. And guess what? Your YouTube channel or your YouTube video about the podcast you just did related to their question or problem is going to show up. So important. Number 3, getting backlinks. This is so huge and so important. A lot of people think a transcription is going to do the trick when it comes to SEO. The real fact of the matter is, if you just put a stupid transcript on your website with no backlinks, no pre-formatting, not using the correct, header 1, header 2, header 3, subtitle, whatever, blah, 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 in like a chronological form, all that shit, it's not really going to help your SEO. You're just going to be burning money for transcripts. And, we just actually went through and made some tweaks on it to clients, basically the way their production flow, and we I'll save them a lot of money because they cut out like 80% of the usage of their transcripts. So now we're focusing on getting more backlinks. Well, here's how you do that. A couple of things when you're doing backlinks. Number 1, if you have a guest, you want to make sure they either share it on their blog, share it on Medium, share it on YouTube, share it on whatever platform they have. But mainly I want to see it on their website too. I want them to link back to my website from their website. That's number 1. Number 2, if you have mentioned people, if you've mentioned companies, if you've mentioned newspapers, then it makes sense to link them in the show notes. And this is a pain in the butt. I know it takes extra work. You know my feelings on show notes. I don't know if they're really all that important, but if you're doing them, you might as well make sure they're damn well effective, right? So that's number two for this thing. Yeah. For the whole backlinks thing. So guests, focus on getting guests to link back to you. And then also focusing on people mentioned. So people, especially companies, and I like to do new companies too. Like if you look at Product Hunt and you mention people on Product Hunt, those people are looking for traffic and exposure. So they're going to reshare 9 times out of 10, whatever you share about them if you like them, right? So find ways to get backlinks like that. Consider hiring an SEO company too if you're that big on it, but it's a lot of money. Just bear in mind. So, and it's a long game too. I don't think this shit's not going to work overnight, but long term, if you're in this for the long game like I am, it makes sense too. And last tip. Yeah, I should have came up with 5. I only came up with 4. 4 is my favorite number, by the way. Last one here is repurposing the episode on other platforms. So actually taking either your show notes or your transcript. If you're going to do a transcript, then do it right, for God's sakes. But either one of those two, are pretty good on places like medium.com. We'll focus on medium.com for this one only. But, the fact of the matter is if you have, and Google doesn't penalize you for duplicate content, by the way. So if you have a Medium blog and you also have a blog on your website, then you could put it on both, right? If you can even do like the show notes on one and then transcript on the other one. Make sure you take the time to link or get your assistant to link some stuff. I would make sure definitely you take your blog, your Medium blog, link back to your main website. It's a lot of people do. Simple trick. And that way you can actually start to benefit off of that as well. So just some tips there. But yeah, repurposing on more content, written content form mediums like medium.com wouldn't hurt. It's a long time consuming thing, but if you are looking to build a brand and now, I listen to a lot of marketingschool.io. So I'll be 100% honest with you. I learned a lot of stuff from them. But one of the things they're talking about there, referring to Eric Sue and Neil Patel, because there's so much more fake news now that Google is actually really shifting the focus towards brand authority and brand queries, right? So if you have a good brand, it's very logical to say that you're not going to put out fake news because it's going to destroy your business, right? So if you have a weak brand and you're kind of a nobody and you're putting out content, right? So Google's going to think you potentially could be fake news. So having a good brand, meaning you have a website that looks good, you have a website that it's well branded, it's consistent from page to page, that sort of stuff. A lot of people are typing in your name. Like a lot of people type in podcast domination. It's going to be, the brand queries are going to go up. So that's actually going to help the domain. So just some tips there. So again, last one there was repurposing on medium.com. So the show notes or the transcript, just make sure you do it right. I think that will benefit you in the future. So anyways, my friend, hope that was enjoyable. Hope that wasn't too long too. I was supposed to get that done earlier, but that's the 4 tips to better SEO for your podcast. Peace out. Hey, and don't forget, I have a number of free bonuses for you. These are free templates, guides, and stuff that I've actually included in my recent book, How to Get Your First 100,000 Downloads in 100 Days. But you don't even have to buy the book. I'm just going to give this to you for free. All you have to do is go to LuisRyan, LuisRyan.com/book. There is a simple form where you fill out your name and your email, and you get a ton of free stuff, all the templates and guides that I included in the book, but you don't have to buy the book. So you're saving yourself a chunk of money. That literally will take you probably less than 2 minutes to accomplish or perform. So enjoy that. That's my gift to you. Use it. Don't just let it fall by the wayside. And I'll see you on the next episode.